Well, it's day 3. I'm out of business cards. So we'll grab some business cards.
Generally noted.
All right, business cards in hand, and we are gonna go back up to the hotel room, take care of the dogs, and have a glorious day 3. As with previous days, you want to make sure you are getting a pretty decent stretch in. Shower before you go in. We didn't talk about that yesterday. You're at a hotel. You've got all this free stuff. Clean your butt. Goals for today. We've got some panels. We've got hopefully some more great cosplay meetups so I don't have to hunt down. Apparently I've been missing a whole lot of really awesome cosplay, which kind of bums me out, but such is life. Hopefully have a photo shoot lined up later today. Kind of a last minute thing. If it happens, awesome. If not, I'm here at the con anyway. I'm getting a lot of cool stuff, so we shall see. We're gonna go over some panel etiquette and just regular con etiquette. Let's do the con etiquette right now. We'll do panel etiquette when we get into the con. So, general con etiquette is when you're walking, keep moving if you're towards the center of the aisle. So you've got booths on either side, right? So you're on the floor. Let's back up a little bit. You're on the main vendor floor where Artist Alley is and where all the celebrity guests are and all this stuff. You have booths on either side of the aisle, and so the aisle is effectively wide enough for, depending on the con, depending on the place in the con, because sometimes they make the areas more narrow. Generally, there's room for 3, sometimes 4 streams of people. The stream of people closest to either side, right there in front of the booths, is kind of for talking to the artist or the vendor that is working the booth. Now, the vendor area, usually their booths are big enough you can be in the booth, so you're not really disrupting the flow of traffic. But if that's not the case, or if you're standing in front of an artist or whatever, try and squeeze in pretty close to that, because there are people trying to get past you on the other side. And then that center aisle, or potentially 2 center flows of people, keep moving. If you're dragging your feet, then be aware that there's people probably trying to get somewhere, or they really want to get to the booth past you. So if you're looking at a booth, get close to the booth so people can pass you. If you're not looking at a booth, pick up the pace just a scotch so that you're not pissing off the people behind you. And be aware of your surroundings. General con etiquette. Just be aware of what's going on around you. Somebody with a giant cosplay who can't really speak up very loud because they've got a mask on too, might be right behind you trying to get past, and you're just off in your own little world. So be courteous when you're out on the floor. Be aware of your surroundings. It's called situational awareness. If you have done any sort of military service, then you know all about it. But if you haven't, then that's what it is. You're being aware of your situation, all of the things around you. Super important at a con, and we'll get into panel etiquette in a little bit. almost to the end of day 3. We have one panel, 1 hour-long panels going right now, and then we have the cosplay contest, and then that's it, pretty much. So, panel etiquette. Really simple. Stay quiet. Don't interrupt the panelists, and then when they turn over to questions, if you have a question, wait your turn. If you finally get up to, because I mean, oftentimes the panel will end before everyone will get to ask their question. Then usually you can go up and ask the panelist and try and talk to them later, depending on who the panelists are. Like, if the panelist is Mark Hamill, then yeah, you're probably not going to get up to ask him questions after the end of the panel. But if the panelist is a local author, and most authors in general, like I was wholeheartedly hoping that if Rothfuss had shown that maybe potentially I could catch 10 seconds with him on camera, but he wasn't here. That didn't happen. But authors, that's not out of the ballpark. Maybe an author of Rothfuss's caliber, that might have been out of the ballpark, but I was going to try. Anyway, so yeah, if it runs out of time, then be respectful and go ask them if they're hanging around, if they're trying to get back to their booth, if they have another panel, if they're trying to get out for whatever reason, be respectful, try and let them leave. The other thing, when you do get up to ask your question, it's not a conversation. You don't get to then discuss with the panelists the question that you have asked. Unless, there's always a caveat to these. So last year, I think it was this con at Salt Lake Comic Con, there were a couple panels that I sat in on, and that there was maybe 15 people in the room listening to the panel, and then probably 2 or 3 people up on stage. When they got to questions, then you have to get back in line to ask another question, but when there's only 4 people asking questions, that's a possibility. So yeah, that was a little more loose in the it's not a conversation kind of element of it, but as a general rule, panel time is not chit-chat time, be it between you and your friends or you and the panelists. They don't want to have a conversation with you. The purpose of the question is for you to stimulate more conversation for those panelists. So if you have a great question, then obviously you want to listen to the answer, but you don't get to then interject more into the conversation. That I feel like is one of the awkward, nerdy things that happens a lot is, oh, well, I got to ask this really cool question, and now they're all talking about it, so I get to be a part of the conversation. And it's not really how that works. Ask your question, listen to the answer, be happy with the answer. If you have another question, go to the back of the line, ask your other question. You don't get to converse. I think that's it until after we get done with that cosplay contest. So until then, let's roll some more B-roll.
Gone, your love is gone, it's gone, daddy gone.
that is the end of Salt Lake Comic-Con 2017. Oh, all in all, it was better than last year. As to whether or not it was better than the year before, that is apparently up for debate. But it was good. I had fun.
They didn't have eggs there.
They didn't have eggs in 2015? I had fun. Got some really cool shots. Hopefully made some connections for some photo shoots for when we're up here next time. And yeah, and recorded the Twisted Tunes, the whole Twisted Tunes panel. So the posting of that's going to be really interesting. I'm going to do the entire audio on the audio podcast portion of Nerdy. And I'm going to do a couple of the scenes up on the video on the YouTube. So keep your eyes peeled for that, because that is some of the funniest stuff you're going to hear in a long time. Man, what was Walking Dead guy's name? Ross Marquand? Anyway, great voices. The cat from The Walking Dead, Ross Marquand. It does some really fantastic impersonations and is very, very spot on with them. So that was a whole lot of fun. Yeah, so thank you very much, Salt Lake Comic-Con. I have a lot of editing to do for this cosplay video and all of the things. So see you next year. And remember, if it is generally nerdy, then you know what? It's probably here.